Sorry to bother you on your business trip, dear. Can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure, is something the matter?
I'll explain things in detail later on, but here's basically the gist of it. I fell down the stairs at home and I injured myself. Right now, I'm at the MoniRobo Central Hospital.
I thought it would be around time you sent me a message, actually.
What? What do you mean by that?
I know everything, Ryohei. I've known about your betrayal for a long time. My name is Ichiko Kuroshima. I'm 28 years old and married to my husband, Ryohei. However, our family is a little unique. I'm not sure if this sort of language is accepted these days anymore, but put bluntly, I'm the central pillar of the household, providing for the family, and Ryohei is a house husband. Before we got married, he got really ill for some time, and as a result, we agreed that I would go to work, and he would take care of the home.
I'm sorry, Ichiko. I bet you're starting to feel less for me, being as useless as a man can be.
No, not at all. You worked so hard in the past, honey. Now you can get some time to relax and take care of yourself.
I'm sorry, Ichiko.
And also, I know I shouldn't really say this, but you know my salary's higher between the two of us, right? If you promise to take good care of the home, I don't object to the idea of me working, and you staying at home as a house husband.
What? You're not going to leave me?
But of course not. I'm not gonna let what we promised each other during the wedding to go to waste. That's for damn sure.
Thank you, dear. I'll do whatever I can to make the home a better place to support you, Ichiko. You have my word.
I'm counting on you. From the beginning, I've never had any wishes to stay at home as a housewife. I wanted to pursue a career all my time, and a family wasn't going to make me give that up. Additionally, I knew Ryohei was having some concerns about his health and his work, so all things considered, I think this was the best thing to do. Ryohei is a very nice guy and cares for other people so much more compared to the average human being. While that might seem like a good thing, that eventually led him to start caring about small, meaningless things that would pile on the stress and take a toll on him. In that scenario, that personality trait can be a curse. As for me, I like to speak my mind and often clash with people who don't share the same views as I do. I'm really sorry to cause you a lot of trouble all the time.
Oh, please. No need to apologize. You're younger than me, but you strive to lead the department to a better place in the world, and you tackle the work like a champion. I think you're a person very worthy of respect.
That unbelievable kindness got me infatuated, and being who I am, I pursued him. And things went great. We started going out, and after a few of those, we officially became a couple. And now, my chance to protect Ryohei is finally upon me. I had absolutely no hesitation in marrying him. A year after we were together, we got married. This year will mark our 3-year anniversary. I'm turning 28 pretty soon, and I started thinking about having children too. However, little did I know I would forever be grateful for my decision of not having children. It was pretty easy to notice something was off with Ryohei. First of all, the number of times he was going out somewhere skyrocketed in just a few short weeks. Hang on, did you go out today?
Yeah, I did, but how did you know?
You're wearing that stylish suit I got you for your birthday. It isn't exactly something you wear whenever you go shopping, is it?
Actually, an old friend of mine from high school, who works a job somewhere else, told me he was coming back for the first time in a while, and I went out to lunch with him. Sorry I didn't let you know before.
No worries, honey. Did you have a nice time?
Of course. Now how about dinner? Tonight's menu is your favorite. Ginger fried pork chops.
Oh wow, I love those so much. I still wasn't suspecting anything at this point. But soon afterwards, he started to become very nosy about when I would be home in the evening.
Hey, Ichiko! Are you home late tonight?
I think so, yeah. It's a particularly busy time of year right now, and I think extra hours are gonna go on for some time. I'm having dinner at home. Could you leave in the fridge for me, please? And don't wait for me to get to bed. I don't mind at all.
Copy that. You're doing so well every day, dear. Keep up the good work. Tonight it'll be a hamburger steak and potato salad.
Awesome, thanks. I wouldn't mind, much less suspect anything, if he asked me when I was coming home only occasionally. But he asked me the same question as often as once a month. And get this, it was always during the latter half of that month. In other words, he asked me whenever he thought I would have some extra work to do, which is often during the latter half of the month. Furthermore, we have an allowance system at home too. As a thank you for taking care of such good care of the home, I give him an allowance of 50,000 yen a month. I don't ask him how he spends the money, nor do I really care, but I notice that the number of belongings of his increased too. Oh my, what a nice shirt. Is it new?
Oh, yep. Kinda strange if I go for some fashion, isn't it? I'm not getting any younger, and I think I should become more like the adult that I am, to be honest.
It's not strange at all. Looking good, champ.
Thanks. Glad to know someone likes me at least a bit fashionable. Makes me more confident.
Checking with me unnaturally often about when I'm coming home from work, showing interest in fashion, which had always been something he was never interested in. These on their own is more than enough proof that something about my husband had changed, but the biggest hint that suggested suspicion was the fact that he started spending a lot more time on his phone. You're on your phone a lot more these days. Did you find a fun game or something?
Yeah. So, that old friend of mine, the one I went out to lunch with a while ago, yeah, he recommended this game to me. There are some bonuses I can get if I log in every day, so I'm pretty wary of that.
Maybe I should try playing that too. What's the name of the game?
It's called Moni Heroes, and it's an RPG. The graphics are pretty cool. The main characters are a doctor or a professor, and her trusty sidekick robot. But there are also other party characters to choose from.
He showed me a screen as he started explaining the game to me. The fact that he does actually play the game on the daily didn't seem to be a lie. However, perhaps any person with good intuition would tell themselves at this point that his answers were too well prepared. It was as though someone was telling him, if your wife asks you this, tell them this, or something suspicious like that. At this point, the doubt that had slowly been growing inside was turning into certainty. But I guess you agree that interrogating him about what's going on without any solid evidence isn't a very good option. So I decided to bug the house with a few small microphones. Fortunately for me, Ryohei isn't too tech savvy, and he would never suspect me of doing something like this, I believe. I set one in the doorway, one in the living room, and one in the bedroom.
Have a nice trip, Ichiko. Be careful.
Sure, and you take good care of the house, dear. And then I left for a 2-day business trip to Kansai. Or so I told him, because that was a complete lie. I asked my job for a couple of days of paid leave, and instead went to a certain place within the city.
Ah, Miss Kuroshima. We've been expecting you.
Good afternoon. And what do the results show?
It's safe to say he's pretty guilty, ma'am. Evidence against him came pouring in quicker than a river during a rainstorm, after all.
Last week, I hired a detective to obtain some evidence on whether or not Ryohei was having an affair. And today was the day I hear the results.
His partner's one Miss Nanako, and she works part-time at an apparel store in the large shopping mall downtown. They met at the bar Mr. Ryohei had gone to hang out with his old mate from high school at.
I see. That would mean that the excuse he made about meeting up with his old high school friend wasn't an excuse at all. It was the truth.
By the way, did you obtain anything from the bugs?
I listened to the recordings on my way to and from work, but so far, there's been no sign of Nanako or any other woman entering the house. I mean, I do leave him behind in that house, and whoever this woman is, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't invite her over. And there she blows.
Mr. Ryohei! Love, I wanted to see you!
I wanted to see you too, Nanako.
Look, Nanaka's all sweaty. I think I want to take a shower.
Sure, by all means. I'll take you there, and I'll get you some fresh towels too.
Aw, you sure are stupid, Mr. Ryohei Poo. I mean, I want to take a shower together.
Oh, Nanako. Holy damn. What a convenient time in history we live in, ain't it? Just look at how much evidence we have, Mrs. Kuroshima.
And your dry, apathetic attitude towards a wife who just realized her husband's cheating on her is strangely amusing, I must say.
You have zero fault, ma'am. You're shouldering the burden of working hard and contributing to society for the sake of supporting your husband. And how does he repay your generosity? As a fellow man of his, I can't help but feel nauseous.
Thank you. Your words have made me feel a little better. I've assumed he was having an affair for a longer time than I care to hope. To have someone else vouch that this was indeed an affair, that assumption had become a truth, and I felt like something heavy suddenly floated away from my shoulders. And I felt grateful that I hired Detective Yaiba to help me with the case. I am going to file for divorce. However, my husband is a house husband. Do you think it would be difficult for me to demand compensation from him because of this?
Instead of demanding compensation, a good alternative would be to leave him with no common property. And forgive me, I forgot to mention one thing. Miss Nanako is already married.
What?
It seems she only married her wealthy husband last year, but her history with men stretches quite a long way, I'm afraid. Additionally, her husband is 40 years older than her, which is an astounding age gap. Whether she was satisfied with what goes on in the bedroom at night, I cannot say, for the evidence isn't at my disposal.
In that case, it looks like that woman has so much more to lose than a few bucks to compensate for the affair.
Agreed. I say we proceed to make them both plunge into the darkest pits of hell.
The couple now seem to be in the bedroom.
A couple of heinous traitors, doing the unthinkable in his wife's own bedroom. How about we switch off the microphones for some time? Let's discuss what's to be done from now onward.
Yes, let's. After that, I took out my earphones for perhaps an hour and went on discussing what should be done about the situation. However, later on we were interrupted by a sudden scream that came from my earphones.
Hey, Mr. Ryohei! What should I do? I don't know anything. I didn't see anything. You're the one to blame here. You fell down the stairs like a stupid idiot.
Wait! Please! Nanako! What the hell is going on here?
This is only my best guess, but you see, Ryohei doesn't have much physical stamina. And assuming he tried so much to satisfy a young girl in bed, whatever was left of his endurance quickly went kaput, and his legs would basically turn into 2 sticks on uncooked spaghetti. As he started down the stairs for a glass of water, I suppose his weakened foot slipped off the step and sent him tumbling down. I just listened again and heard what seems to be Ryohei calling an ambulance. The fact that he brought along his cell phone while going down the stairs was maybe the silver lining in this little mishap, huh?
It's definitely a theory that a detective with the body of a young child and the mind of an adult would form. I'll give you that. But if that really happened, that is the most plain bullshit I've ever heard.
I suppose, but his life isn't in danger. I actually think he even sort of deserved it, considering his betrayal. What a wife I've become.
Social convention would agree with you that you're quite a cruel wife to say something like that. But as a singular human being, I also think the bastard deserved it. I can literally see the image of him crying for mercy and forgiveness at your feet.
And I believe that would be the perfect moment to exact my revenge. When that happens, I hope you'll cooperate well, Mr. Yaiba.
Of course, ma'am. Pleasure doing business with you.
A couple hours after we overheard Ryohei call an ambulance, my phone alerted me of a text message.
Sorry to bother you on your business trip, dear. Can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure, is something the matter?
I'll explain things in detail later on, but here's basically the gist of it. I fell down the stairs at home and I injured myself. Right now, I'm at the MoniRobo Central Hospital.
I thought it'd be around time you sent me a message, actually.
What? What do you mean by that?
I know everything, Ryohei. I've known about your betrayal for a long time.
What? What are you talking about, honey?
I'll explain everything when I get to the hospital. Oh yeah, before I forget, it would be the world to me if you contacted Miss Nanako.
Ichiko, please answer the phone! How do you know about her? Please, Ichiko, answer the phone! Ichiko!
Until I arrived at the hospital, I didn't respond to any of his messages or his phone calls. Finally, I arrived at the MoniRobo Central Hospital and immediately headed for his room.
Ichiko!
Oh dear, a cast on your arm and on your leg. Looks like you broke them both, considering the state you're in.
I have so many questions to ask you. But first and foremost, how in the world were you able to come to the hospital so quickly? You should be on a business trip to Kansai.
I'm sorry. All a stupid lie. I thought that because I would be away on business, you'd invite your partner in crime over.
When did you first suspect something?
Came about when you told me you went out with your old friend from high school. It seemed that in it itself wasn't a lie, but the place you went to was a matchmaking bar exclusive to married people, wasn't it? That's why you wore that stylish suit that day,
But why?
I'm not so broke that I can't hire a detective, you know. Now it's my turn to ask you my questions. First of all, what made you want to have an affair in the first place?
No, listen to me. I never wanted to have an affair. It's just that old friend of mine teased me about the fact that I've never been to a brothel, even though I'm a man. I told him I never really appreciated the fact that these places were always mysterious, and one thing led to another, and before I knew it, I found myself inside the matchmaking bar. I swear to you, all I ever wanted was to let my inner beast run a little wild, you know? You're so busy with work, and I didn't think you wanted me to be so demanding.
Watching my husband go blah 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 this and blah 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 that actually felt my love for him dwindle away, and the reason was because I knew everything he was telling me were all lies. You don't remember me telling you that I wanted to have children? That's why I checked when exactly I would be in heat, and I even went on to try to get you to make love and conceive a child with me, right?
But that's...
You're saying that you didn't want to impose on me in my busyness, and taking your desires elsewhere because of it is just a stupid lie. You just wanted to do some lovey-dovey things with an attractive girl now, didn't you? According to your DMs with her, you said that I was stubborn and that you felt ashamed of your presence in the house. Tell me if I'm not telling the truth.
Why did you take such measures? That's a violation of privacy, you know!
You just shut up. In this situation, you have absolutely no right in excusing me of anything.
Ugh!
You have absolutely no right in accusing me of anything. I'm filing for divorce, and I'm going to demand compensation from you and from that bitch Nanako. I suggest you prepare yourself.
Wait, hold on a second! I know I'm guilty, and I agree I should pay you compensation, but please, I beg you, do not tell Nanako's husband!
Why? Is it because he's a wealthy man and that behind the curtains he does some business with big scary men? While I was on my way to the hospital, Mr. Yaiba sent all kinds of information over DMs. Nanako's husband is indeed a wealthy man, and he is also the younger brother of the head of the Yakamashi gang, who does their business within the city. The same man was head over heels with Nanako. Even when Nanako isn't faithful, he never takes her anger out on her, but instead contacts his brother, who proceeds to bring that man into hell itself. In reality, a few poor souls from the city have actually gone missing because of this. Nanako turned out to be a woman much more formidable than we thought.
I'm begging you, Ichiko! I swear on my life that what I was doing with Nanako was only fun and games! It was never for real! She was so bad that she had the audacity to abandon me when I had my accident! I only have you now! Are you seriously to abandon me too?
Of course I am. I'm actually willing to say, don't be a stranger please, yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of Hakuna Matata. I went to hell and back working my goddamn ass off for you. I believe I also helped you out with the housework so that you also have some time to rest and bring your health back. And you still went behind my back and went off gallivanting with some young slut, right? In my house, the rent for which I provide, and top it off in my bedroom. I think it's now obvious I have no room to pity you, you bald frickin' bozo. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten Ryohei was also a weak-minded spirit, and he often looked like he was fighting back tears. Back when I loved him, even that part of him was cute, but now that my passion for him had become colder than absolute zero, the only emotion I got when I heard his sobs was annoyance. Through a lawyer, I already submitted a full case report and demand to compensate for the affair to Nanako's husband. I will not pay for your medical bills either. I suggest you try to figure out how to handle things yourself.
No way! A sweet girl like you should have something called sympathy, shouldn't you? I'm completely immobile here, with a broken arm and leg. The very least you could do is to show me just a little bit of kindness.
Shut up. I don't want to see your frickin' face ever again. I'm gonna send all of your belongings back to your parents' home. Want a shoulder to cry on? Try your mom. See ya. With that as my parting shot, I left the hospital room. As I was walking down the hallway, I heard someone's voice.
Ichiko, please, don't leave me!
I wonder who could be such a goddamn crybaby. I paid no heed to the voice, convinced it was just the wind, and continued walking. All I hope is for him to cry so much as he suffers in hell itself.
Oh, Mrs. Kuroshima, ma'am.
Mr. Yaiba, I'm sorry to cause you the trouble of heading over here.
Oh, no need for that, ma'am. It's your divorce anniversary. Let's get on with it, please.
Before we do, could you please tell what happened to Ryohei after that? I want to know if I really had my revenge for what he did.
Ah, yes, about that. Apparently, it became quite a big deal.
First, let's talk about what happened until Ryohei and I got divorced. After I went home from the hospital, I quickly gathered up all of his belongings and shipped them all back to his parents. When everything had arrived, they actually went on to interrogate me, as well as insult me about what they think happened.
You little bitch! Ryohei tells me he has a broken arm and leg, and that he can't move a single muscle! How could you leave him, even when he's suffering so, you monster!
Ah, well then, sir, allow me to show you this recording. I went on playing the audio of Ryohei doing the dance with no pants with Nanako. After a while, his parents stopped by my place to apologize for what he'd done. His poor mother was crying so much. As a woman like yourself, nothing could be more unforgivable than this. You go on forgetting about Ryohei and live your life happily, sweetheart, right? And I must order you to demand compensation because it's the least of what you deserve. Thank you so very, very much for supporting our boy and taking good care of him. Thanks to my mother-in-law being so kind and apologetic and ashamed of what her son had done, I felt slightly more satisfied than I was. After Ryohei left the hospital, he went back to live with his parents, and the whole divorce procedure was done through her lawyers. Instead of demanding money as compensation for the affair, since it was legally equivalent if I refused to divide the property, that's what I decided to do, and Ryohei was officially and mercilessly kicked out of my house. However, a bigger problem was Nanako's background. I also demanded compensation from Nanako, and her family's lawyer contacted me soon thereafter. The price we agreed on was my initial demands for 3 million yen, but then he offered me an extra 4 million under 2 conditions. 1, that I wouldn't breathe a word about this whole situation to anyone, and 2, that I wouldn't investigate what would become of Ryohei afterwards. Since I had no intention of staying in contact with him, these sounded like very reasonable conditions and accepted them without any hesitation. And what you're about to hear in a moment is what Mr. Yaiba told me. And it's exactly happened in the aftermath. I doubt Ryohei thought he was going to spend a quiet life back in his home. He vanished without a trace, leaving a single note that read, "Believe your son to be dead. I love you." However, the Yakamashi gang quickly discovered his whereabouts, cornered him, apprehended him, and bound him. And throwing him into a potato sack, they took him away somewhere, never to be seen or heard from again.
The information I was able to obtain ends here, man. I may seem like I don't give a shit, but even I know where the detective work has to stop, for my own sake, and for the sake of my clients. I don't believe it's a nice thing to know what became of a man you loved so much once upon a time.
It isn't, but it doesn't matter. I don't care what destiny awaits him. He failed miserably, as a loyal husband and as a human being. However, I do hope there will be no other victims of Nanako's slutty reign of terror. Even for Ryohei, if that woman had been someone else, someone without such a dark background, perhaps he could have had a better end.
You really are a kind lady, Mrs. Kuroshima.
What?
And also, about that particular point, about Nanako's reign of terror, I don't think you need to worry about that anymore. Apparently her husband, who'd been extremely patient all this time, finally had enough of her bullshit. He didn't cut her off, but instead applied lots of restrictions. More specifically, he demanded that she go off gallivanting with men from a certain host club of his choice.
He must really love her to be giving a far too mild punishment for what she does to men. I really don't understand how the brains of people who do murky, questionable work function, and I don't think I ever will, nor do I want to, but I was really happy that Nanako's tentacles of evil and misfortune no longer had an effect on normal society. I'd like to propose a toast. A toast to you, Mr. Yaiba.
If you don't mind, I'd like you to become more than my client, Miss Kuroshima. Will you do me the pleasure of becoming my friend? Oh no, please, not in a weird, ominous way. I assure you. I just like you as a fellow human being.
Whom I'm so grateful to have hired as my detective, and for your good luck in the future. Everything's on me today. Here, here, cheers and cheerio.
You need not worry about that, ma'am. I'm gay after all.
What?
I thought I could trust you with my sexuality, and I hope I made the right decision.
Best decision you've ever made. I'd like to hear more about your life, Mr. Yaiba. I may have become an ex-wife, but I'm so thankful to have made a new friend in the midst of this story. And from now on, I'm gonna do my best to live a nice life full of friends, happiness, and success.